Welcome to Tulum Beach. I am here for my last hour of an 8-day journey I took here to do yoga and relax and read and meditate and enjoy the freedom of being alive. If you don't believe whatever it is that you want is possible for you, today's video is for you. I received a couple of comments on a recent video that I need to shed some light on in order to help us all reveal our innate greatness. We are all made for greatness. We are all made to reach our full potential, and I cannot let a couple of comments that were made on my channel slide because it's just painful to listen to, and I'll read them to you. So as you know, I wrote a book called The Diamond Process, how to use every opportunity in life to rise up into your greatest, fullest, most amazing potential. And this comment is from somebody who is not allowing themselves to reach their full potential, which I can totally relate to because I've been there. What the comment said was, I don't think I'm capable of ever reaching a point where I am not anxious, positive, and in a relationship. I've been watching you for over a year, and all I've gotten was realizing that I'm too dumb to reach what you've reached. I'll be unsubscribing now, but I'm really happy and proud of everyone capable of getting inspired and changing their lives for the better. Okay, before I even address this comment, I'm going to read somebody's response to this comment, and this is what really made me make the video, okay? Patricia replies to Mr. Shuni's comment with, yeah, I just watched the first clip I've ever seen of them, meaning Jason and I feel like it's easy to do what they say when you have a perfect, free, and easy life, but in the real world, we're constantly scrambling just to get by. So long as you or anyone watching this video projects a perfect life onto me or any other person who makes videos or posts on Instagram or lives some magnificent life, is a thought leader, etc., you will be limited and incapable of reaching your dream. Confirmation. As long as you believe that you can't, you won't, whatever it is. And I know that's a tough thing because it's like if you don't believe you can do something, if you don't believe you can live the life you're here to live, if you don't believe you can be at peace, free of anxiety, happy, present, joyful, loving, then you won't be. So the question is, how do you change your mind? How do you change your mindset? For one thing, okay, you guys have heard me talk about the Mexican crab story if you were in our master class. Jason and I were talking about, and we're on a Mexican beach, which is perfect. There are crabs in Mexico where when you put them all in a bucket, if one of the crabs tries to get out, if the crab is almost out of the bucket, the other crabs will pull it back into the bucket. That is what a limited community and people who want you to stay small are going to do in your life. As a community, what we are doing here is reminding people of what is possible. One of the ways to shift your belief systems is to get out of the Mexican crab bucket and come into a thriving community where you can actually realize and see living proof examples of people who used to be in the bucket and found their way out and are living wonderful lives. I used to live at the bottom of a Mexican crab bucket, okay, mentally, and I wasn't able to live my life and enjoy my life because I was so stuck in negativity. Oftentimes, though, those crabs that pull you back into the bucket are not people. They're not as obvious as somebody replying and agreeing with you, saying, yeah, we can't do it, you can't do it, they can do it, but we can't do it, they're free and happy, but we'll never be. Oftentimes, it's not as obvious as that. Most of the time, it's our thoughts that are those crabs. And I have been here pretty much in silence for 8 days on a retreat, and I watched my mind for 8 days because I didn't socialize. I was just in a very quiet place, and I watched my mind try to terrorize me and take me out of peace over and over and over again. So the treasure tool I want to share with you is what I've been using while I am here. All of us, in order to free ourselves from that Mexican crab bucket, in other words, to free ourselves from that limited identity, from that small reality that we know we're here to bust out of, the only way is to watch your mind. Mind your mind. Wake up to the place inside of you that can see your thoughts. Wake up to the place inside of you that can witness all of the trash that your mind, my mind, our minds are generating. So for me, I was sitting on the beach and I had all these judgments that people thought I was weird, I'm here alone, that all these thoughts were being generated. I wasn't socializing, I was being maybe a bitch for not talking to people, whatever my mind, I watched it come up with all these reasons, all these thoughts that were trying to take me out of the joy of just being alive, the joy of being here, the gift of having free time, not to have to engage and to be in silence and to deepen in my spiritual practices for 1 week of my life, right? And one day it got really escalated and I was sitting on the lounge chair and there were these women next to me and it felt like, I don't know if this is true, but that they were talking about me and judging me and kind of making fun of me. My energy wanted to defend myself and shut down. The way that we get pulled into the bucket, we get pulled into our minds, into our thoughts, into limited thoughts. That's the Mexican crab bucket. So the question is, how do you pull yourself out of those thoughts? What I did is I was doing my mantra at the moment. I was meditating, ironically, and I simply stayed with my mantra and I watched my thoughts try to take me down. And you have to call your mind out on what it's doing. And that's the bottom line. Notice all the thoughts that are coming out of your head. And if you don't see them and you don't see them for what they're worth, you see that they're an illusion, you see that they're not who you really are, then they will keep dragging you down. So the way to do that is to have a meditation practice where you sit for at least 5 minutes a day, ideally longer, but 5 minutes a day is a great place to start, and just watch your thoughts. Notice the thoughts that come in and out and realize that there is an awareness behind the thinking mind that is able to see those thoughts. So it's like being at the bottom of the ocean and seeing all of these fish and seeing all of these different corals and seaweed floating by. And instead of being entangled with all of it, you're just laying on the bottom of the ocean or sitting in Padmasana, looking at, or lotus pose, seeing all the thoughts move by. And they're all so different. Ooh, there goes a redfish. There goes a piece of seaweed. There's a pleasant thought. There's a annoying thought. They're all just thoughts. Until we wake up to the place inside and we relax into the truth of who we are, that is still, silent, present, behind all the noise of our mind, we'll be in the Mexican crab bucket forever. So my point of making this video is to help us all jump out of that Mexican crab bucket and step into the vast freedom that's outside of that bucket. Like this gorgeous, unlimited life where we can create anything. A really powerful tool that helped me is I focused on what was up in that moment when those women were really dragging me down. They may not have been saying anything, so I'll just say my mind was dragging me down. I focused on what was up. What I mean by that is I focused on my spiritual teacher and his spiritual teacher, and both of them were like sitting in my third eye, and I was doing my mantra, and I stayed focused on these masters who are of an extraordinary, exquisite vibration. I focused on what was up. And in that, it lifted me out of the mire of that Mexican crab bucket and freed me into the truth of who I am, which is I am a woman on a path that most people are not on. And you must know where you're headed and never take advice or never be influenced by people who have never been to where you're going. So that helped me a lot in that moment, because I was thinking of those girls if they were saying something about me. It didn't matter because they're not headed to where I'm headed, so why would I ever be influenced by someone who's not living what I choose and aspire to live, right? That's why I keep focused on my teachers who are living what I choose to live. So just to recap here, in order to live your dream powerfully and shake out of the belief that you can't, number one, surround yourself with people, with community that are going to lift you up, that are going to remind you and exemplify and show you actual living proof that they did it so you can do it too. Number two, Also make sure that the community, meaning your inner community, your own thoughts, are being checked at the door, that you are watching those thoughts like a badass hawk, just catching them and waking up and realizing, oh, that's just my ego doing its thing, and wake up to the one who is simply neutrally observing, not judging, like, oh, that's just what my mind does, right? No problem. And the third thing is to know where you're headed and make sure that you have somebody or some example of somebody who's living what you choose. Like for me, it's my spiritual mentor. And keep your focus on what's up. Keep your focus on them, whether it's on a mantra or a teacher or a person who's living so beautifully and so lovingly the same thing you want to live. Focus on that person and let them remind you in your own consciousness that if they can do it, you can do it too. So if anybody has been talking you off of your path, including your own thoughts, may this be a dose of love that wakes you up to the reality that what is in your heart and soul to create in this life, it is your destiny. If you give yourself permission to believe and to move in the direction of what you truly love. I love you guys with all of my heart. Thanks for joining me in this last moment in Mexico. And I'm gonna go catch a flight. And by the way, the Diamond Process Coach Training Program, a comprehensive 6-month program, starts on May 19th. We are currently enrolling and taking applications. So if that interests you, go to diamondprocesscoach.com, check out the website, and if you're like, oh my God, this is what I've been looking for, then the application is at the bottom of the webpage, okay? diamondprocesscoach.com. We have an amazing group registered and it's gonna be so powerful. That's why I'm here on the beach, is just recalibrating before I dive into this powerful immersion of 6 months with this glorious family of sorts of soon-to-be Diamond Process coaches. Very, very exciting. I never could have dreamed that I'd be doing what I do today. So may that remind you that you can't even see the magic that is in front of your life and in front of you right now. It's all happening and it's all here for you.